no distractions. We'll get away. This is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out. Die with my own doubts. Be free with me. Let's be free with me.
It's that one. It's that one. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome back to the stream. Welcome back to Mancbuses and all that jazz. This is going to be another one of our wonderful streams where you can interact with us. Unfortunately, Sean is getting drunk at a wedding, so he isn't available. So unfortunately, he's stuck with just me. Why I'm live, I'm doing a few other things as well. So unless the chat obviously takes off. London Bus Fan 937. Hello. How are you? I'm doing all right. How are yourself? How is yourself? Data is currently unavailable. That's a surprise. No, I don't want any of them windows. I want that window. So you will see the light will keep changing. That's just because of how it works. I've just got a notification. So just bear with us 2 minutes, guys. I'm gonna have to take a phone call. So mic will be muted. Sorry about that, guys. I am back. Let's have a look. What's wrong today near Northern Quarter area? Did a bus hit? No idea. I don't work in the city centre, so I don't have a clue. If you were to make a bus company, probably Mancbuses. Yeah, it's a nice name. I can't believe technology has gone far. In which way? Hopefully this now works. Is that page working? Page doesn't work. And that page doesn't work. Wonderful. Beautiful. Connor, is it true that the staff bus pickups you can't wear trainers full stop, but if they're black they tend to turn a blind eye to them. The staff bus will pick you up from the closest point it can, but you have to put it down normally a day or two before, and you can wear shorts when they are permitted. But they can be quite tight on uniform, so it is like only when it is permitted. Don't know if that link's gonna work. I'm doing mess about with this one first because that's not put that in right. Go away. How is 114 at the moment and the progress? I've not been to 114 since we went the other day and we put loads of parts on it. So next we'll be there is on Friday when we pick it up to go take it for its MOT, and we shall see if it makes it and it passes. Gonna make a bus company, especially in London, you need a lot of money, my friend, a lot of money. I think this is the page I'm going. Is it? No, it's not. I don't want that page. I want that one. My dad owns a bus company all the way in Ireland. Very nice. Hope it's going well for him. Hopefully these links now work. Update the page. Close that page. Close that one. Was thinking about getting all black night trainers but without the white tick. Yeah, you can probably get away with them. As long as they're not in your face, they are completely black. They'll tend not to notice. It seems to be working. Right, the ticket machine part of the website is back up and running, guys. The links for some reason broke, but they're back up and running. We hope the same too. We hope it passes too. Need to get ready with a link for the new stuff. Where does that merge take at the moment? Over to there. That's fine for now. Yeah, those that will know, the website doesn't get that regular updates. Hopefully that's going to be changed soon. So yeah, but this stream is sort of like we can have a catch up. I was hoping that Sean would be available to be on as well, but unfortunately he's not, because we did well last time and it's pushed the income that we get from YouTube up really well. So I don't think there's anyone else in the group that is available, although not really asked. So yeah, I'm currently playing Omsi 2 with the right renowned studio. Yeah, someone did the 7176, didn't they, in that? If I believe rightly. Not 100% sure on that one. Let's have a look what's in. Oh, there's bloody loads in here. Needs work doing. Jordan, how much money do you make from the ads? Not much. We don't make as much as what people actually think we make. So yeah, let's put it this way, it takes us a couple of months to get a payout. Memberships now are helping boost that, as well as super chats. It's all helping. I do have a few things here that need to be put on. So we got that one, and then that one, and then that one. So I'll update everything. Right. No, get in bed, please. Not you viewers. Bear with me. Sorry about that, guys. Jordan, no, they didn't have right renowned at Stagecoach where I was. DJM Studios. Hey Jordan, I wanted to ask you, do you know what events you're going to with 114? We're not too sure yet. We have booked in to Fleetwood. Other than that, we're not too sure at the moment. But obviously we will tell people in good notice of the events that we tend to. Fleetwood was a bit of a, well, we fancy going to it. We don't know if the bus is going to be ready, because we don't know if it's going to pass an MOT or not, but we're booked in anyway. So so yeah, we're not 100% sure yet where we're what events we're actually going to be doing just at the moment. But obviously once we've got a ticket on the bus, then we're going to be perfectly fine and we'll be going for it. Basically we can start booking into events. We'll know how the bus is going to react and so on. at the moment everything is an unknown, especially we have the different exhaust system that we fitted. So it's all going to be different basically. I was going to say something then. I can't remember what I was going to say. Getting an MOT for seatbelted buses and coaches, right pain. No, it's not. It's easy. It's just you've got a lot more to make sure it's working. So yeah, it's not a pain in the ass at all. It's you just got more to make sure it's all working. No, I haven't driven a Lowlander DB250. The Omni Decker, I think I've driven one. It was alright. My dad's Mercedes touring failed its MOT because of a belt. Its belt's fully stuck. Good. At the end of the day, everything should be working correctly. So you ain't gonna get any what's it with it, because everything should be working. So yeah. Jaden Hunt, would you ever drive a bus in central London? No, hate the place. Hate the place. I'm sure you would have a very good laugh of me doing it, but I hate the place. So definitely not. How we're doing? Oh, 7 concurrent viewers. Very nice. Don't know how long I'm going to be on tonight for. Yeah, I've got to do my tea and that. Would you ever drive a Levante Triax? There is me of driving one on the channel. Taking it to Aircon Co. That's a Levante. So yeah, I've driven them. I've smashed one up. Well, I say smashed one up. I had a tail swing incident and a clipped and van driver that was delivering that wasn't insured to be doing what he was doing in his van. So it went really well because, well, National Express wouldn't pay him just to have his light repaired. So yeah, that went well. Tired today. Not even been in work, just tired. Oh. We do have a wonderful surprise on the 1st, so anyone that is watching and isn't subscribed, I'd be subscribing to get the update on the 1st. You also can subscribe to the newsletter, which gives you the updates each month on the 1st of every month. Let me just get you a link when the site catches up. What do you think of the new Stagecoach local livery? I've not seen it unless you mean the one that looks like Margie's thong going up the back of the bus. Other than that, I've not seen it, so couldn't tell you on that one. Trying to keep a... This is the problem when you've not got someone else to do it with. Let me open that curtain. I'll cast a bit of light in here. You'll be able to see me even when I've got this other window open. So yeah, it's one of those. Out of a biscuit. You ever driven Megabus coach? No, wasn't allowed to. But a Triax coach is a Triax coach. Same length, same characteristics. Same massive tail swing you get on them as they swing round. Getting quite a few impressions through playlist and stuff. New viewers who returned, apparently everything's low, which is really good. Oh, they've changed the times. Best recommendations. Connor, is it true single deck is harder to drive than double deck, or is it a myth? A bus to drive is a bus to drive. They're pretty much the same. Single decks can be a little bit more tricky in a tight space because you typically with a single deck you've got a larger overhang, both front and rear. So overhang, it's a lot more space between where the body finishes and the wheels are. So when you're turning, you've got a lot more tail that can swing out and hit things. So if you're going through narrow gaps, a single decker is a bit harder to get through. Harder is probably the wrong word. It's probably trickier because you've got to watch that tail swing to make sure you're not going to hit anything. Where the deckers always have a short overhang at the back. So although you do have a tail swing, it's nowhere near as much as what it is on a single. So you still have to be careful, obviously, but there's less chance of you hitting something with a tail swing on a decker unless you're really, really, really close to it. You do full lock. You know, there's a lot less chance. So You just got to remember that you're driving a decker and not to take it under a bridge and make it a single decker, because then you're not reliant. That does tend to have an impact on how well you're doing. So, going back to Aaron's question before about how much do we make on YouTube, we'll put it down like this. So, January this year, so this is the last 6 months. January, £24. February, £24. March, £35. April, £29. May, £32. June is ongoing at the moment, £49.58. Now, June is a lot higher because we've been reposting the old videos that I've unedited that you guys have been enjoying, but that will soon drop back down to 24. We're attempting in 2 days, is it? Yeah, 2 days. We're attempting to get June's take-ins to be £60, because then we get a payout. The way it works with YouTube is every £60 you'll get a payout in your AdSense account, so it's got to be 60 or more. So for like January, February, it adds up and it has to be over £60. So there it wouldn't have been, so we wouldn't have got a payout till March. But I think the way the payouts work, we got a payout February, March, and we got one April, May. We just due one now, or we just had one, and then obviously June we're trying to get another one. But YouTube are very robbing people. So in the last stream we got £10 worth of super chats, which you guys watching looks fantastic. It's £10, you know, £5 each it was, something like that, you know. But this is the big but. YouTube pay us out of that £10 £5.85. You know, if we're looking at the stats, and that's the last 28 days. Shorts has made us 25p. Supers I've just said. Membership's 7.55, and watch page ads, which is the ads during the video, is 38.62. So it's one of those, but it's very unreliable to what the CPM is, the click per minute is. So on some videos it can be really high, on other videos it can be really low. At the moment it's estimating the last 28 days that for every 1,000 views we get £2.38 in videos. In shorts, for every 1,000 views in shorts we get 5p. And in lives it's really broken. For every 1,000 views in a live we get £13.9p. I don't know how that works. So currently live is very high at the moment, but if say this stream, just say for argument's sake, got 1,000 views, it's never going to get close to that. No one wants to watch me. We would get £13.9p in essence, but it won't work like that, because as soon as you start getting higher numbers, they'll lower the RPM. Connor, so is that why a lot of training buses are single decks? Yes, teach you driving a single deck, full length, 11.8 meters. In the idea that if you can drive that, you can drive a decker which is shorter, basically. Oh, we did have a new member. Oh, I missed him off the list when I did the videos. Never mind. David Thompson. I missed him off the list, but that's another one joined. Brings active members up to 7. What do you prefer, coaches or buses? Coaches are better in the sense of normally they have aircon that works. Seats are comfier. Driving position tends to be higher up. What have you? Buses, you can tend to just throw them about though. As long as you've got no passengers on. Passengers don't tend to like being thrown about. So, yeah. Yeah, in the last stream it was £10 we got. So out of that we got £5 odd, which shows you how robbing YouTube are. Just waiting for the DVLA to add the provisional entitlement. Yeah, didn't take long when I got mine, to be fair. Didn't take long at all. By the sounds of it, I've got one little babba that doesn't want to go to sleep. And one big one that doesn't want to go to sleep either. And Aaron, just to cover it, Patreon is £23 a month at the moment. So yeah, we don't make a lot. We do not make a lot. It's very hit and miss with what we make and what have you. We still put a hell of a lot into it, and we always will. Yeah, didn't have any of them problems. Only had a problem when I went to have a medical for where I am now. To have a different medical for one of the jobs we do, and my hearing in my left ear is a bit there. So yeah, still didn't go to doctors like I was supposed to. I can drive, doesn't bother me. It's what you get from listening to loud music in one ear. My left ear was always the one I used to have my sounding. So yeah, it's what you get, unfortunately. Self-inflicted, I think, is what they call it. So I don't really have much to do. Just waiting for the other members to the other people of the group to get some paperwork in order. And then we're laughing. But yeah, this surprise on the first, it's been an absolute ball ache, and I'm sure Sean would agree if he was here. It's been a nightmare, but we're hoping that the big surprise you're gonna like. Yeah, that's it basically. Connor, any final tips for Stagecoach Ashton? Then when I start, just try not to be nervous. Get on with your instructor. When he's instructing you, just talk to him normally. It keeps your nerves at bay. If they go to grab the wheel or whatever, just let them. Don't fight them. If they're grabbing the wheel, you're doing something wrong. So that's the best advice I have. I had mine grab the wheel once when I was learning, and we also had another person with us who the wheel was endlessly grabbed, but he used to fight it, so it used to make it worse. Where when mine did it, I just let him, take control of the wheel, and it makes a safe situation. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. you're gonna make mistakes, so don't worry about it. When you get your progress check, just treat it as any other drive, and you'll be fine, honestly. The DPRK, when was your last accident? My last accident wasn't my fault. I can't say too much, but needless to say, the person pulled out of a junction at me, on me. It was too late to stop, and I redesigned their new Mini. They were not the best impressed, but that's what you get for not looking, and I know they didn't look because I watched them. It's the case of I was driving up to the junction, driving, and then they stopped at the junction. They looked down at the stereo, and then they went, and before they knew it, and before I knew it, I was on top of them, pushing them along by the side of their car. Not much damage to the bus. I think it was a bit of fiberglass damage basically to the bus. No one injured. Bit of pain in my wrists and that, from where the wheel jolted. One passenger that the shock of it more than anything was they fell over, but it was more the shock, and they were fine in the end. But yeah, it's one of those things. Wasn't to blame, nothing I could do. George Emmett, do you like the design of the Enviro 200 MMC? Well, it's pretty much the same as the 400. They've moved on, haven't they, really, from what they were building years ago, which is like ours, because ours is the predecessors, when they just used to build a box on wheels. Now it's got to have smoothing lines for aerodynamics and looks, and it's still a brick on wheels. It's not very aerodynamic. Looks better, does look better, but essentially it's still a brick on wheels. You know, you take it near any motorway bridge that's gusting, or any bridge that's gusting, you'll fly like a kite. So yeah, but they're looking better these days, looking less like a cardboard box. So yeah. Connor, just worried about the near side mirror. Don't be. Although we used to call them the P45 mirrors, that's when you've passed your test anyway. Don't be, just make an allowance for it. It sticks out, just make that allowance. Aaron, Jordan, what do you think of the Scania E400 MMCs? Never seen them. Buses are the most unaerodynamic vehicles. You could argue a truck's possibly worse, and they're doing their best to try and make a truck aerodynamic as well. But yeah, putting these curves on it for aesthetics and aerodynamic and fuel efficiency. I'd like to see the stats to see how much it actually changes and what actually makes a difference to it. Because I've got a feeling it doesn't make that much difference at all to it. Same as this stop-start technology. I don't think it saves that much fuel. I don't think it's that economically friendly. The view for that is basically the stop-start technology. It's great. You know, you pull up, engine stops, you're not using fuel. But you've got extra strain on that starter motor that has to keep starting the engine. And if you're in your car, you know, you're not stop starting all the time. But in a bus, you stop start. You know, if you're not stopped at traffic lights, you're stopped at a bus stop. So where your car might only have to restart its engine on a normal trip a couple of times, and it's quite easy to get a small engine running, it's a big engine. It's a 4 litre engine. Most of them are fitted with Cummins 3.9 litre engines. It's still a big engine. It's got to get running and turning over, and it can't stop for that long before it senses the batteries are running flat, because you've got all your lights on. Most have radios going, you've got your ticket machines going, you know, so it only shuts down for a few minutes and then starts back up. But if you've just stopped at a set of traffic lights, engine cuts out, engine starts back up, you go through the traffic lights, pull up at a bus stop, engine stops again, it's more stop starting. And I think the starter motors, they're worth a lot more than it is in the saving of fuel. And then what happens to these starter motors that are beyond repair and can't be reconditioned when they blow up? Oh, they've got to go somewhere. So I don't think it's that. I don't know. Buses of the Northwest. What sort of MPG does your Dennis Dart get? We estimate about 10. Between 5 and 10. It can get more, it can get less. But when we do fuel calculations, we'll calculate at 5 and calculate at 10, and then go somewhere in the middle of them two. Because if you keep driving and you drive, when you own the vehicle, you can be economical with it, because you're not having to stop at bus stops all the time, you're accelerating, braking, so it's not too bad. But yeah, it's not a high MPG. The DPRK, it's okay, all buses will be electric in 5 years' time. Well, we've heard that before, haven't we? Electric buses, I've only had a dabble in them very shortly. I'd love to have a firm that has one that would actually let me come and do a video on it and actually be open and honest about it. But the problem is, a lot of firms that have these buses, they'll want a positive review about it, but that's not what this channel's about. This channel's about our review and our experience of it. So if we have a shocking experience of it, then it's shocking, you know. If it's good, it's good, and that's what I ended up in trouble for at Stagecoach, because like Green Road and all the other things, me and Will used to tell the truth about it and our opinion of it, and it didn't go down very well. So yeah, yeah, it probably will take a bit longer than 5 years. Where I am, they're looking at hydrogen. We had a hydrogen bus on test for 2 days. It came on a low loader. And I don't like the look of hydrogen buses. I think they look stupid, personally. With a big dome on the roof, they just look stupid, because you sort of have your bus and then you have this massive dome on the top. Looks like a humpback whale that's gone wrong. So yeah, you might have to ask Right Bus, can you take a Right Electric liner out for the day and do a review? Possibly, maybe one day. Maybe one day. Oh, battery's flat. We have enough going on at the moment where we don't need extra things, but it's something that we want to do. So we have to go green. That's the future, not dirty diesel. See, this is the problem. You say we have to go green, right? But essentially, the vehicles that are all out now in Manchester, for instance, right, like my car, yes, the diesel, and we're having to extract the diesel and convert oil into diesel and all that. But my car's Euro 6. Most of the buses in Manchester are Euro 6, means they put out no emissions, or very, very low emissions. The highest emissions they get is when they're regenning, and even then, that's just a few puffs of smoke out the back as it blows the diesel particulates that have burnt beyond a belief out the back of it. My car does the same thing. When it regens, you get a little bit of smoke out the back for about 5 minutes, and then it goes away because it's finished its regen. It's got hot enough, it regens. So it's not so much the emissions part of it that they've got to clean up, it's the oil part of it. The biggest problem with electric buses, and this is what they're facing now with electric cars, is in the current world that they're doing, electric works and stuff like that used to happen at night, because at night half the grid, you can lose parts of the grid, divert it other ways, work, and then put the grid back online because there's not so much draw on the grid. The problem then with electric vehicles is they're charging up at night on 2 kilowatts, 4 kilowatts, and 2 kilowatts I believe is the highest a house can draw on the mains. So if you're charging your car outside at night at 2 kilowatts, that your house might as well be active. So if the entire street's got electric cars that are charging at night, the grid's not able to be repaired because they can't shut part of the grid off and divert the electricity a different way, because that's how they do it. We know that from when we had a power cut here, and they managed to get power restored to our house via diverting the power through a different substation. But that's the problem. So then if you've got a depot that's charging electric buses at night, or let's say 6-8 kilowatts for quick charging overnight, you might get away with 4 kilowatt, and you've got a fleet of 100 buses. That's a hell of a lot of power. That's like a housing estate. And then you've got to think from there, where's this power actually coming from? Because yeah, we have renewable energy sources, we have solar panels, wind power, hydro dams, but surely all this in the current infrastructure that we've got now can't support all this. It just can't. So then you're having to rely on coal, gas, and the fossil fuels anyway. So at the point of relying on the fossil fuels, you might as well just put diesel in the buses. So I don't know. As far as green is concerned, the vehicles we have these days of Euro 6 are green. Okay, like I say, you have to put diesel in them. Not the greenest of things, putting diesel in them. But the actual exhaust pipe section of the vehicle is green. So air quality isn't really affected at that point. But I'm not a scientist, so yeah, that's just my understanding of it. But there we go. Because like I say, my car's Euro 6, I don't pay any road tax on that. It's free because its emissions are so low. Oh yeah. But you also then have to think as well, saying that we have to go green, what about all these preservation vehicles that aren't Euro compatible? They're still going to be running diesel. You know, you're still going to have petrol cars and diesel cars. diesel essentially, I believe, is a bit greener than petrol these days. So yeah. Jack Picton, us at Halifax Depot won't be getting electric buses. We get every other depot's handouts. That's how depots work, unfortunately. They'll move buses, like Stagecoach Hyde Road did. They got all the new buses that they wanted for Euro 6, and then the ones that they can't use any longer in Manchester because the emissions were too high, or that they're getting on, were shipped out to elsewhere where they don't care about the emissions. So, yeah. Aaron, electric coaches definitely won't last long on the motorway. Don't know. Depends. If you had a way of recharging them when you got to your destination, then it's not too bad. But yeah, convert the old buses. Well, that'd be ruining history, unfortunately. And I'd love to see a PD2 converted to electric. It's possible. Not saying it isn't possible, but that would wreck so many things. Really would. So, Aaron, diesel is the way. Diesel isn't. Diesel isn't the greenest way to go. That isn't. But as the emissions is, it is. But the fact of having to extract oil isn't. But can you believe them when they bang on that we're running low on oil, we're running low on coal and all that? Because they've been banging on about that for years. And God knows how many times have they said, oh, we're going to be running out of oil in such a year. And we've still got oil. We've still got coal. So, just goes to prove you can't believe any politician. So, yeah, but something needs to change. But Manchester at the moment, most vehicles are Euro 6, and I know they're currently working on Euro 7. Biodiesel is actually probably worse than normal diesel. I know biodiesel was trialled at Stagecoach, and it was just breaking the engines. You know, clogging filters up and what actually. So I don't actually care, to be honest. Well, fair enough. It makes this discussion, which is good. Might get some other people's opinions as well at the same time. But yeah, veg oil. Probably some of like the PD2s and that probably would run on veg oil. To be fair, they're probably old enough that they can run. You'll find the older vehicles could probably run on veg oil. It's like the newer vehicles. I mean, I don't think our Dart it would run on anything but diesel oil. When you start introducing stuff like veg oil and biodiesel in, you really got to be careful, because unless your engine is 100% made to run on it, it just does nothing but bad. It just starts clogging fuel lines up and filters up, and it's a nightmare. So yeah. But no, that's a fair enough discussion. That it's something that's always, where do we go from the point that we're in now? Because obviously Stagecoach have their electric buses. They don't seem to be having too many problems with them now. I don't know the charging setup for them anymore. I do think they now charge off the national grid. But as I say, it's a lot of power that's being consumed to charge. And then I know, like the Teslas and that, there's people that when the batteries have expanded their life, they'll rebuild the batteries and put them to different use. But what do we do with all the batteries that can't be redone? So it's really a funny one. My mate had a 1997 D-Turbo Peugeot 306. Well, it's a Peugeot for a start. He ran it on old chip oil and it stank. So EVs also take a long time to charge up. They do, unless you're supercharging them, and supercharging can damage the batteries, and then you're back at that point I've just made. What do you do with the batteries that are knackered? You know. Ardy Bell, hi Jordan. Hi mate. It's like let's see if I can find it. It's on here. I don't think it is on here. Ow. Sorry headphone users. Yeah. Like these. So my partner uses these at the moment rather than these. Now BigClive.com has taken these apart, and the waste that these companies use is unbelievable, because inside this is one time use. It's £10 for two or whatever it is, so it's one time use. It charges down and then that's it, job's finished, and you throw it in the landfill. But when Big Clive took these apart, he found there's a rechargeable battery in these, because a rechargeable battery is cheaper than a one-time use battery. So if you can recharge these batteries, what's the point in putting it in something that's a one-time use that's just going to end up in landfill? There you go. Go check out BigClive.com on YouTube. Depends on the superchargers. Supercharging will always do some sort of damage to the batteries, but if you're smart charging, as long as like the Tesla smart charging, it'll supercharge up to a certain percentage. I think it's like 80%, 85%, something like that. At that percentage it starts to trickle charge, so it doesn't overcharge the battery and damage it. But you still got that error of margin, and you're still hitting batteries with 4 kilowatts of power. You know, I know one of the managers in work, he's got one, and it cost him about 10p to charge it up. So it's dead cheap. It is dead cheap. But as I say, the national grid, it'd be interesting to see, or it is interesting to see how the national grid is managing. Just over the way from where we are, other side of the shopping area, they've just built a load of new houses, and they're building some just behind the houses on the opposite side of the road. Most of them are going to have charging ports for cars. But that's again even more load on the national grid. Oh, hello Luke. I think the cable's gone. Possibly. Let me just... Yeah, there we go. Is that better? Have you got anything to say, Mr. Luke? As seems like you're very popular. Yeah, it's the cable on this mic. It's fraying, unfortunately, from dangling. So very little I can do about that. As it is up full. It is up completely full. So yeah, it's a lot of power that has to be consumed, basically. So we'll have to just see how the National Grid do. Hope to visit TDT. I'm presuming you mean Town and District Transport Trust. We will be there at that rally. That'll be another one that we will be attending. In theory, on one of the days. Town and District are still very good friends to us. So much so that they have actually, as long as plans go together, they have offered us a space back up there. But we're just weighing up the pros and cons of actually going up there, basically. Coming up in July, and we'll visit Town and District in July. Well, you'll miss their rally because that's in September. And you'll just have to hope there's people there and arrange it with them, because there's not always people there. I've just answered that one, Aaron. Have we thought of coming back? We have been offered a space as long as certain plans go together. We are very friendly with Town and District still, so we have thought it out. We're not too sure yet. All depends on a number of factors that are out of our control. Hope to ride on the B10, Joe's bus, Danny's B7 TL Gemini and AX400. Good luck. You may get a ride on them, you may not. Depends whether they're taxed, insured, and they can actually get them out the shed. So, yeah. I know Danny doesn't tend to tax his buses unless he's using them. I don't know what buses are there and what aren't there at the moment. I don't tend to keep my nose in. I know we've been invited up to film a shed shunt at some point when they do one. Whenever we want, basically. Out of liquid. New liquid. What we got? Cola. If I can get into it. But no, we don't keep our ears to the ground anymore. We just take whatever comes at the time. We've got enough going on with our own without having to worry about someone else's vehicle. So, yeah. But no, Town and District would be good to go back to. We'd get a lot more different content up there. But there is a lot of pros and cons to obviously going back. Like at the moment, to get to the bus it takes 10-20 minutes. If it's up in Town and District, it's an hour. And then if we want to film Manchester bus routes, we have to bring the bus back down here, another hour. So it takes a lot out of the day, basically. So it's very hit and miss to what we actually want to do. It's something that we need to decide on. But we'll have more information obviously when Town and Districts have more information, basically. Oh, I've got a kick to it. Where's your dart stored at the moment? It's in a storage yard in Ardwick, which charges through the earth for a 40-foot space. but we do have 24-hour access. It is outside though. So I don't think Town and District update their website either, so I don't even know. I know the gay hostess is having work done on it. I know that. But that's all I know. They've updated some of it. Yeah, it's not been updated in a while. Just having a look now. I don't think 60820 is even on their website. I can't see it. A few B10Ms. Oh yes, it's at the top. Yeah, it's at the top. Do they provide you with water, so basically just in case you break down you can get water into the coolant tank or wash the bus? They used to. There's a tap, but it doesn't seem to work. But no, we've just got containers. We just take water. We always take water with us. Doesn't matter where we go and what we're doing. Even when we did Newton Willows, we tape off a section of seats. It takes a row of seats out, but it's like 2 seats. And we have oil, water, coolant, ATF. We also take out the front luggage rack. That's tools. We have a tool chest at the back, which is mounted to the bus. Yeah, at the back window. So that's secured, so obviously the drawers don't open. And we take most of our tools with us. So we're self-efficient. The fact the tap doesn't work is just an inconvenience. But we probably will on Friday be, or if I'm there tomorrow, I'm not too sure, asking them about the tap and seeing if they can, if it is just turned off on the inside, whether they can turn it on so we can fill our water containers up. But yeah, we always take stuff with us. If we've got hoses and stuff, we take them with us. Anything we might need. If we can fix it at the side of the road, we'll fix it. We are covered by a breakdown service, which is reminding me I need to sign up for it, because ours has run out. But we're taking a risk with the one that we're in, or going for. It's free, basically, and we pay by the hour, so that they'll come and try and fix the vehicle at the side of the road. If we can't fix it, they can't fix it, then they'll arrange a tow truck and we have to pay for it all, basically. So it's a bit of a risk, but the years we've been doing this now, touch wood, we've never needed towing. So we've paid out a hell of a lot of money for breakdown cover that includes towing, and we've never used it because we always manage to get the bus back. It's always coolant hoses or stupid stuff that's gone wrong. So we're able to get back. can you like make some sort of day before the MOT? Because in the MOT's Friday, mate. No, the bus is not being washed before it goes. We were going to wash the back of it to take the oil off it, but there's no point. The plan is basically once it's MOT'd, it will go for an undercarriage wash, and then we'll worry about actually washing the vehicle. There's no point worrying about making it look nice, washed and everything before it's even on the road. So, and any luck, it'll rain all the way down there and it'll be washed by the time we get there. The vehicle is pretty much MOT ready. We just need to put the rear seats in. That's it. And check a fuel leak, which we're gonna do on the day because Sean's fixed it, but you couldn't tell because it was already covered in fuel. So if it was only seeping a little bit, you can't tell. So yeah. But yeah, no, we will be washing it eventually. It's just the car wash people just across the fence, so the chances are once it's on the road we'll pop round to them and go at closing time when it goes quiet, would you wash it? Because you can pull it in there, it's just you'd have to reverse it out, which is not a problem. You know, they close at like 6 or something when it goes quiet, so driving the bus next door to wash it and let them with their power washers and that, throwing them a bit of cash, it's not a problem. It's just as easy, isn't it? Probably a lot of their hoses would probably reach through the fence and be like, you come round here and wash it. So, but no, it'll get a wash when it's going to a shell. So it'll be washed for Fleetwood, basically, in theory. So we don't know how we get into Fleetwood yet, because even if it passes, we've just had the invoice for storage, so that's below. And we've got to get fuel to get to Fleetwood and back. So don't know, but luckily it's after payday, so it's not too bad. Hi Matthew, I'm not too bad. Yourself? Is this Matthew or is it Matthew Hunt? 16th of July is Fleetwood. Like I say, we don't know how it's going to respond to this different exhaust on it, because it's going to be back pressuring a bit. And probably on the way to MOT it's going to get a bit smoky on the motorway as it gets hot, but we shall see. Right, I think I'm going to be going up to about 9 o'clock. Oh, you know, no problem. I'm going to be going up to about 9 o'clock, and then I'm going to go check on the 2 ones upstairs, see if one's asleep. I know one isn't because I can hear her. And then I'll be chilling for the rest of the night, because like I say, me and Sean, we've done, oh, let me check the app if I can. I'm logged in at the moment. Tuesday last week we did 12 hours, we did 11 hours on the Wednesday. This is including working. So last week, and there's some hours that have not been accounted for yet, it was 23 hours on top of us both working 40 hours a week full time. So yeah, we've been busy. It's not going well. I like it. It's easy. It's good fun. What do you think of the which one was 60846? I'm always getting mixed up. Is that the one that just didn't work? think it was, wasn't it? The one that we had to take the alternator belt off to run it, because the alternator seized on it. It had to be ran off a jump pack. I think that was the one. Not too sure. Yeah, no, it's all going well. Nice and easy. Not been in today, it's just got up late and this was the first shirt that came to hand. And the first set of pants as well. Oh yeah, that's the one with the alternator that was seized and the other bits and bobs. Yeah. Yeah. Do you just drive around car parks all day at the airport? Basically, yeah. But it's easy. Car parks and terminals. Don't go too far. Everyone's happy because they're either just going on holiday or they're just coming back. So, none of the rubbish I used to deal with service work. But yeah, the one is, yeah, I know which one you're on about now. That's the one that we got accused of breaking by many people on YouTube, including someone who claimed they owned it even though they didn't. Yeah, we had to remove the alternator belt on that before a shunt because it all seized. Yes, we've got all brand new Enviro 200 MMCs, so yeah, they're good. It's pretty stress free. You've got no timetable, so no worries. It's just easy. You just drive around all day, picking people up and dropping them off. Gets a little bit stressful when it gets really busy, and you know they're on the radio going, "I'm leaving people here, 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 and there," and you can't do that because you're full as well. So it gets a bit, but it sorts itself out. I don't know who it was who claimed 60846. Can't remember. But it was found out. But on that note, Little Legs upstairs is sounding quite unhappy, so I'm going to use this opportunity to cut it short, and I'm going to go sort her out because I can't leave her crying like that. So thank you so much for tuning in, thank you so much for watching. We'll do another one of these hopefully sometime soon with Sean, and we're going to try and see if we can get some viewers on and what have you and see what it is. Yeah, but thank you. Don't forget to check out the website. You can sign for the newsletter, become a member. If you click the join button below, you've got Patreon as well, patreon.com/Mancbuses. All the links are always in the descriptions, and on the website www.mancbuses.com. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you out on the road.